to the Wellbeing Seminar with Women in the Law. I'm Sally Penny. I'm a barrister. I practice in Manchester and London. I'm the founder and CEO of Women in the Law UK. We've got a fantastic speaker for you this afternoon. I really, genuinely don't think we can be well-beinged out because we're still in COVID-19. For us on the Lunch and Learn webinars, I think it's week 6, Sian, isn't it? We started these before everybody. I know we're all zoomed out, but I believe that these are good. If you've missed this, then you can watch it again over and over. Maria's got some fantastic tips coming, particularly because she was in the corporate world, and so she can give her experience, and she's retrained to give us some fantastic advice. She trains lots of businesses in Manchester City Centre, and she does one-to-one coaching, and she's now doing webinars. So I'm delighted that she's been able to accept the invitation for her to speak.
Yeah.
Maria, over to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Welcome everybody. So as Sally's just said, you know, well-being is the most thing that we need to invest in at the moment, because, you know, if we haven't got our health, you know, we got our life. So, you know, your well-being is one of the things that you need to invest in at the moment, and that's your, you know, your physical health, your emotional and your mental well-being. So in this workshop today, I'm going to be giving you lots of tips to improve your well-being, boost your immune system, and then also some tips as well of how we can blend our work and our life at the moment, because everything's, you know, all rolled into one. And I think a lot of us as well are finding every day is the same, and we don't quite know sometimes what day it is. So one of the first tips I'm going to share with you today is to structure your day. I think this is really important. So when you wake up in the morning, you've got a routine and you've also got a focus as well. So split your day down into 4 sections: morning, lunchtime, afternoon and evening. And during the structure of your day, you want to schedule in your work, and that's going to be different for everybody, because some people might live on their own with the partner, and then some people have got to homeschool their children as well. So they're going to structure their day very differently. And this is something to be very mindful as a colleague, that, you know, other colleagues might be structuring their day differently. You know, a parent might be getting up at 6 in the morning, doing some work, then schooling the children and coming back to things later on. So it's just being mindful of that as well. So really important that you get up at the same time every day. This will help not only for your routine, but it will also aid your sleep patterns as well. And I think for your mental well-being, it's really important to get up and show up every day. So don't be tempted to sit around in your pajamas, especially if you live on your own. Make sure that you get dressed, and that will get you into work mode. Also, at the end of the day, make sure that you close down your laptop and put it away, so that you know your work day has ended. And I think this is another good reason why you should have sort of timings as well of how you're going to structure your day, so that you know that you've cut off from work. So don't be tempted to leave your laptop open, because you'll start dipping back into things, and it's really important during this time you get some downtime to switch off. Another good thing, some other tips to share with you as well regarding your work setup at the moment, because you are working from home. Try and have your laptop or your workstation near a window, so that you're getting some natural daylight, and if possible you can open the window for some fresh air as well. So here are some more tips for structuring your daily routine. So map out your day, map out your working hours, so that you're not available 24 hours a day and you're mentally switching off from things. I think at the moment when you wake up, it's really important that you've got goals every day and you have a sense of purpose every day. This is really going to support your well-being. So know what your priorities are that you're going to work on every day. Put reminders in your diary to do things such as your daily exercise. Make sure that you're getting that in every day, because that's going to support you. So in your daily routine, you should have your work scheduled in. Connecting with colleagues, friends and family, because connection is really important to support your well-being. and making sure you're looking after your health. And the other thing is to make sure that you're doing hobbies, finding time to relax, and that you're, switching out of work mode and into your home life. So whilst working from home, make sure that you pace yourself through the day and take regular breaks as well. So your brain actually works in 90-minute cycles. It's the ultradian rhythm. So that's your rest activity cycle. So make sure that you take regular breaks. Also, it's good to move around as well, because not everybody has the luxury of having an office set up at home. So we might just be working maybe from a dining room table. So you just want to make sure you're not, going to get back strain or eye strain sat down for long periods of time. So try and move around during the day. And by taking regular breaks as well, that's going to re-energize you. And, it just resets the brain as well. So it'll help you to be more productive in your work. Really important that you take a lunch break and also step away from your desk. So maybe that's an opportunity to, maybe ring somebody to connect, or maybe just go outside if you can, and get some fresh air. So communication at this time is so important for your well-being. I think for me, that's the number one thing. So make sure that you do stay connected with your colleagues, your friends and your family, and your wider community as well. But just be mindful that you're not constantly distracted during the day, because that's one of the things that I've found is just being bombarded with phone calls. So I've tried to schedule those and pace them out now during the week. And then if you are living with, other people in your household, really important that you set some ground rules as well. And don't be afraid, to say that you want your own personal time as well. So especially for people that are schooling children at the moment, setting out a daily routine is really important so that your children know when their breaks are, when you're going to play a game with them, when lunch is, and that will save being asked lots of questions. So to maintain our productivity whilst we're working from home, there's a great saying by Mark Twain, and he says that if the first thing you do in the morning and wake up is eat a live frog, that's probably going to be the worst thing that happens to you all day. So your live frog is your biggest, most difficult task that you have to deal with that day. And I think working from home, it does take a lot of discipline and you really need to be motivated. So it's very easy to put those big tasks off and then it becomes a bit of a panic towards the end of the day. And this is why it's really important that you have structure with your timings as well. So you have that discipline when you get up, to really get stuck into your work and to get things done. And then if you've got two live frogs, they always say eat the ugliest one first. So the ugliest frog is your biggest, most difficult task that you've got to deal with that day. Another thing to be mindful of whilst working from home is we all have energy levels that peak at different times during the day. Now, they do say that your energy peak is actually 2.5 hours after you wake up. So that could be a good time to schedule in your most difficult task. But we are all very different. I was actually speaking to a friend the other day who, has a kind of 9-to-5 job in an office. And she's discovered whilst working from home that she's best learning things at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think we're all very different energy-wise. So do take that into consideration when you're planning your working day as well. So to keep focused at home whilst working, set 3 daily goals each day. And another hot tip is to actually do your things to-do list at the end of the day. So this helps you to almost do a brain dump and offload so that you're not thinking of work whilst you're at home in the evening. So do your things to-do list at the end of the day, and it will help you kind of get things and your ducks in a row so you know what you've got to tackle the following day. Another tip for working at home is try and have your laptop or your workspace away from your living space if possible. So you solely keep your living space for you just to relax in, and also keep it for your family, to relax in as well. So that will kind of help you switch out of work mode as well. So when you're setting your daily goals, make sure that you have a clear action plan for how you're going to achieve them. Make sure that your goals are smart, so they're, relevant, and they're also timely as well. So, at home, think of it more as working on your tasks and being productive rather than being sat at your laptop for, 7 or 8 hours a day. So, it's knowing what your most important tasks are and the things that you need to focus on. So just be mindful of interruptions, focusing on things that are not as urgent or maybe not as productive, and be mindful of, your phone pinging and getting distracted with other things as well. Neuroscience has also said that multitasking is not good for your productivity. So just be mindful when you're working from home, if you're trying to do a few things at once, that isn't an effective way to work. So to produce, your high quality work and to perform at your peak, make sure that you're just working on one task at a time. And then if you've been working on something that's been, it's been quite taxing and it's took a lot of brain energy, because your brain is a resource hog and it uses 20% of your body's fuel, switch to an easier task, and do try and switch your tasks as well during the day. So that will keep your performance at a high level, and it just gives your brain a break as well. So I spoke about having regular breaks throughout the day. You can also give yourself an incentive by going to make a cup of tea, or maybe, a phone call, or you may want to go do your daily exercise at lunchtime. So have a little incentives for yourself during the day as well, especially if you're living on your own. And then my final tip for your performance and being focused at home is making sure that your working space is free from clutter, because if you've got clutter in direct view, it will have a negative impact on your performance. So at home, whilst we're working, you're going to get to know yourself very well. So we all know what our strengths are. We also need to know what our weaknesses are as well, and not be afraid, to ask for help with anything. So with your weaknesses as well, it may be that you're unmotivated maybe, and maybe not as disciplined, or it may be your weaknesses are every time you go to make a cup of tea, you've started a habit of having a few biscuits with your cup of tea. So you may be developing unhealthy habits that are going to be really hard to break. I know a lot of people during lockdown as well, because they're feeling a bit anxious and a bit stressed and a bit fearful, a lot of people are drinking quite a lot as well. So, try and keep alcohol to the weekend. I'm going to be coming on to that shortly, but just be mindful of any bad habits that you're developing now. They're going to be quite hard to unravel afterwards. So, we have to have a lot of discipline, a lot of motivation working from home. So be very clear on what you want to achieve, and always have the end goal in mind. And then to achieve anything, you've got to take massive action and keep changing your approach until you get the result that you want. So, we've had to deal with quite a lot in a very short space of time. We have this, we've got the coronavirus, so we're trying to make sure that we're well and that we don't contract this disease. And we're looking after our, family, colleagues, and our wider community as well. And then we've also been, forced into working from home and lockdown. So we've had to deal with, quite a lot all at once. So we've gone through the fear factor phase now, and we're going through, everyone's kind of adapting well, and we're settling into it. But I do think this week, from a lot of people that I've spoken to, I think it's really now starting to have, an impact on people's mental well-being, just through being sort of, trapped at home. People have got money worries and other concerns going on as well. But I think be very mindful at this time of how you're speaking to yourself. So be very aware of your thoughts. And on a daily basis, when you get up, ask yourself how you are on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being fantastic, 1 being not so great. And if you're a 1 or a 5 and you're not feeling great, what's going to get you to a 10? So if you're feeling a bit anxious and you're feeling a bit down, maybe you need to go and do your daily exercise in the morning, or do some meditation, or read a book or do something that's going to support you. So just, readjust your routine for that day. So I think at this time, be very kind to yourself and just know that you're doing your best, through this situation. So just think about how you're speaking to yourself as well. So a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm trapped at home. Well, actually, let's spin that around and let's reframe it. So, you're actually safe at home in your home environment. All your basic needs are being met. You've got heating, lighting, water, electricity, you've got food, and you've got the comfort of your own home, and we have lots of channels now to connect with people. So even my parents have, adapted very well to getting on, WhatsApp to speak to us all. So, make sure that you do stay connected to everybody and just be mindful of your thoughts and make sure that you're really cultivating that positive mindset at this time, because it's very important. So for those that live on their own, as I said, make sure that you connect with people to support your mental well-being. And then for those that live in a household with lots of people, it's really important that you all bond and get along at this time. So have family meetings, and if anything's bugging you or bothering you, just get those things out in the open. And set your boundaries as well if you need, some personal space. Maybe you're a mum and you just need to go and have a 15-minute soak in the bath, or 15 minutes of reading your book, just to have that downtime for you. So set those boundaries in your house as well. And at this time, we all need to have a lot of kindness and a lot of compassion for each other. So I think one thing that's particularly important at the moment is don't have the news on 24 hours a day, and certainly don't have the TV on at home whilst you're working, because that's also another distraction as well. But at this time, listen to the news once a day and then tune out from it. So just keep focusing on the things that you can control in your life and the things that you can influence, and just let go of anything that you can't control. And during this time, it's really important that you're still doing things that you enjoy in life. So watch a box set, watch a film, do things to switch off. Make sure you have some relaxation time every day, or time just to reflect, maybe just to journal, just to offload some of your thoughts and feelings, but you can still have fun during this time. And I think, that's really important to support your well-being, and use this time in lockdown as an opportunity, declutter the house, do some DIY, rediscover an old hobby. Maybe it's an opportunity to, learn and upskill. So use this time, rather than being buried in the situation, just to look forwards. We don't really know what's coming next, but, you as a person, how do you want to, be as a person when you come out of lockdown? Are there things in your life that you want to change? Maybe you want to upskill, learn something new, or, have a goal or make some changes in your life. So use this time now as an opportunity and use the time wisely. So really important that we're investing in our mental well-being during this time. And I think do be kind to yourself every day, because you are doing your best. So, it is okay not to feel okay, and make sure that you're connecting, you're offloading any worries and concerns, and that you're also taking the time to listen to other people as well. So if anyone is struggling with the mental well-being, please do reach out. There is so much help out there for you. As well as the people around you in your community. You've got the charity Mind, you've got Heads Together, you've got the Samaritans. For men, there's a charity called Calm. So please do reach out if you're struggling in any way. So the next one is be active, because your physical and your mental well-being are very much intertwined. So exercising relieves anxiety, and it also lowers the risk of depression as well. And it releases those feel-good endorphins. And at the moment, I just feel like we're so blessed with the sunshine, and we're able to go out and do some exercise every day as well. So make sure that you do that. I was actually on I was doing a global webinar this week for lots of countries, including Spain and Italy, and they've not been allowed, to go outside the door. So, although we've got, a lot of restrictions, we're still able to get out and do some exercise at a safe distance.
Yeah.
During this time, we need to take notice of things. So just be really grateful for all the small things and all the, the small pleasures in life. Be grateful for your health right now. Be grateful for your home, the sunshine, nature. So I always think of 3 things that you're grateful for every day, but also take notice of yourself as well. So as I've just said, on a daily basis, ask yourself how you are. Tune into yourself, how you're doing physically, mentally, and emotionally, and what's going to serve you, and what's going to support you, and that's going to be very different for everybody. So as I just said, keep learning. This is also good for your mental well-being. It boosts your self-esteem and your confidence, and it's great to seek out new experiences in life. So learning is another way to support your mental well-being. And then finally, give. So at this time, give your time to other people, to listen to them, and give, to your local community as well. So this actually increases your happiness and your life satisfaction. So one of the really important things that we need to do at this moment in time is really support our immune system. So when we first went into lockdown and everyone was going to the supermarket buying, lots of toilet roll and pasta and beans, everyone left all the fresh fruit and vegetables on the shelves, which really alarmed me. So everyone was stockpiling on the processed foods. So really at this time, you need to think about, how are you supporting your immune system in your body? So the reason why we eat is for energy, but it's also for vital vitamins, and nutrients for the body as well. So, you can also have frozen fruit and vegetables, and also canned as well. That counts, for one of your 5 a day. So sleep is the actual foundation of your well-being. So make sure that you get 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep every night. So just be mindful if you're developing any bad habits of staying up late and watching films just because you're working from home. So exercise regularly, that's going to support your immune system as well. Be mindful if you're, if you're a smoker, trying to reduce your smoking cigarettes, and also reduce alcohol, because they're 2 things that actually have a negative impact on the immune system and make you more susceptible to infections. Really important at this time that we're watching our stress levels, because if we're releasing too much cortisol, that's something else that can have a negative impact on your immune system and make you more susceptible to infections. So as I just said, sleep is key for your well-being. You plug your phone in every day to charge up. We've got to do that with yourself as well. And if you're not getting enough sleep, it will have a negative impact on your productivity, but it'll also have a negative impact because you'll have like a low mood as well. So I think a lot of people at the moment are struggling with sleep and might be waking up in the middle of the night, feeling a bit anxious and worrying about things. So, make sure that you have a good routine, and you're sort of winding down at least 1 hour before you go to bed. And, write a journal. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and something's worrying you, just write it down in a book, and examine your worries. Have you just, because all fear is a projected image of what you think is going to happen, but more often than not, it doesn't happen. So examine your worries, are they realistic, or is it just, your mind manifesting things and blowing things up when it's not really there? Or maybe just listen to some relaxing music if you're struggling to sleep as well. So just spoke about nutrition there. So make sure you're getting your 5 a day. So that's 5 portions of fruits and vegetables, and try and get a variety in there as well. And as well as nutrition, make sure that you're hydrating every day as well by having at least 6 to 8 glasses of water. So water supports every function in the body, but water also flushes out toxins as well. So some of the things we need to be mindful of whilst we're working and living at home is be mindful not to be having, 10 cups of tea and coffee a day. So we should only be having about 4 cups of tea or coffee a day. So caffeine gives you a burst of energy, but too much caffeine can start to cause anxiety and disrupt your sleep as well. So alcohol, as I said, some people have started to develop, bad habits during this time. So just be mindful, of what you're drinking at the moment. So for both men and women, the guideline is no more than 14 units of alcohol per week. So just to give you a guideline, a small glass of wine equates to 1.5 units of alcohol. So if you are having a drink, make sure that you have at least 3 days in between, so you're having some gaps of when you're drinking during the week. And then sugar as well. We should only be having, adults should have a maximum of 7 sugar cubes a day. But sugar is in everything. It's in bread, it's in tomato sauce, it's hidden in lots of foods, as well as the obvious things like cake and biscuits and chocolate. And even a can of Coke on its own, a full fat Coke, has 9 spoonfuls of sugar just in one can. So just be mindful of that, and be mindful of any unhealthy snacking whilst we're working from home. So exercise is really important during this time to support you physically and also mentally. And one of the things to add during this time, because we are spending a lot of time at home, we might not be doing as much sort of exercise or as much walking as what we normally do. So just watch your portion sizes with your food as well. So make sure that you're eating, breakfast, lunch and dinner, so you're maintaining your blood sugar levels during the day. Don't be tempted to skip meals, but just be mindful of your portion sizes. So with exercise during this time, try and get outdoors, run, cycle, or just walking is really good for you. And then be creative, so use, cans of beans at home as arm weights, get a skipping rope out, use your rug as a yoga mat or to do some exercises on. So, just adapt accordingly at home. And there are so many free classes out there at the moment, so check those out locally. Also have a look on YouTube as well. And I know lots of families have been doing PE with Joe Wicks in the morning, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's also great as well to get your kids to exercise in the morning to burn off that energy, so that will help them to settle for the rest of the day. So the World Health Organization says that we should get at least 150 minutes of exercise a week. So when you break that down, that's only 20 minutes a day. So I'm sure we can all manage that. And, do make sure you can get outdoors as well. Enjoy the lovely sunshine at the moment. That really supports our well-being, and it's also topping up your vitamin D levels as well. So just a general overview then of well-being. Make sure you're getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. Make sure that you're eating a healthy diet, and make sure that you're drinking lots of water to hydrate the body and flush out any toxins. So caffeine, make sure you're having no more than 4 cups of coffee a day. Watch your alcohol intake and watch your sugar intake as well, and make sure that you're building in some exercise during the day. So that's the end of my presentation today. So just to summarise the things that we've gone through, sort of getting the balance of working, from home and building in your home life as well. How to structure your day and having a daily routine, and making sure that you have goals every day. You've got that sense of purpose for when you wake up. We've also looked at creating good health habits and working habits and having that discipline and motivation, you know, from working from home. Then we've spoken a lot about mental well-being, how to support yourself, you know, and how to deal with isolation and lockdown at the moment. So, you know, you've got to really invest in your well-being at this time and really support your immune system. So making sure you get exercise, you're eating well, you're staying hydrated, and you're getting plenty of sleep as well. So I'm just going to leave you with my email address, because if you don't want to ask any questions on the call today, or you may think of something in a week's time, do make a note of my email address. Feel free to email me at any point, or if you're struggling and you want to chat, I'm always here, you know, to help and to serve others. Do follow me on social media as well. I always try and put lots of positive things on there and things to support your well-being. And if I can support your business in any way, or the organisation that you work for, I do lots of webinars and workshops to support your well-being. I do things on, you know, being resilient, mindfulness, positive mindset, looking after your mental health, the imposter syndrome, a range of different things. And one of the things I'm going to be doing when we come out of lockdown is I want to raise awareness of menopause as well in the workplace. I also do one-to-one coaching, so if you want a coaching session to support you, then do let me know. I have been coaching a few people at the moment on making changes when they're going to be, you know, sort of coming out of lockdown. And one lady's just started her own business actually before we went into lockdown, and has sold her first painting. So that's one of a nice little success story to share, because I think, you know, good things are happening out there at the moment, and we only ever hear negative things on the news, but, you know, people are surviving coronavirus, and there are lots of great things, you know, happening in the community. So do try and focus on all the positive things that are happening, and, you know, practice an attitude of gratitude every day. So it is a tough time at the moment, but, you know, we're more resilient than we think. Human beings are amazing. So we will get through this. We will find a vaccine, but in the meantime, we just have to look after ourselves and invest in our health and well-being, and look out for others, and just do the best that we can. So try not to look too far forwards. You know, just take every day at a time, and just know, you know, that you will get through this situation.
Maria, that was really good. You know, we all think, you know, you can go to 100 well-being seminars. They're all different. Like, you know, there's so much that we took away from that. And I'd like that it wasn't too preachy, and you're so positive. We all need, like, you know, Maria Mander with us on our shoulder, I guess. And I love the positivity.